Am I gonna get sick if I eat this? It looks like it's past its expiration date. If you're like me, then it's probably a question you ask a lot. Maybe even every time you open your fridge. So I decided to go through someone else's. With the help of dietitian Larissa Gedney, we met up at the home of Effie Ackerland to help her decide what she can keep and what she needs to toss.
I do throw things out on a weekly basis. You know, you go food shopping and you're kind of moving the new things to the back so that you're using first in, first out.
We started with Effie's milk.
Something like milk, this is getting close to its expiration date, but milk, as long as it's kept in the back of the refrigerator, can actually last 3 or 4 days after its expiration date.
What about eggs?
And eggs can actually last for a couple weeks past the date on the carton.
So how do you know if your eggs have gone bad?
A quick trick to determine whether or not your eggs are still fresh is sticking in a bowl of water. If it floats to the top, it's not so fresh anymore. After it's reached its peak of freshness, some gases start to build up in the egg, which causes air pockets, and that's what will make it float. So if it's not so fresh anymore, it will float.
Next up, bread. Gedney says it won't last long after the expiration date, but keeping it in the fridge will help. Now, most of the items in Effie's fridge were really not past the expiration date, but one of the items she was concerned with was this bag of spinach, which actually seems to be going bad.
It is already starting to get a little slimy and starting to turn.
Bad news for Effie, who says she bought it just a couple of days ago, when it looked fresh.
This is so annoying when I try to look at expiration dates before I buy them in the food store. And here, this hasn't expired yet, and yet the product isn't lasting to its expiration date. So I feel like, okay, now I can't eat this raw in a salad. I should cook it because I hate to waste food, or I have to toss it.
The spinach did have an expiration date, but what about fruits and vegetables that don't come pre-packaged? Gedney says mold and discoloration are signs the items are past their prime, but that doesn't mean you have to throw away the entire batch.
You can just either cut off the part that's bad or throw away the whole thing that's bad.
And she had other solutions to save your food from a premature trip to the trash can or garbage disposal. Gedney says you can actually make a lot of the food you own last longer just based on where you place it in the fridge. She says foods that take longer to expire should be placed in the door, where it's warmer and more exposed to outside air, to make room for more perishable items.
It's like the milk, the eggs, the produce. It's better to keep it in the refrigerator further back as you can. That's the coldest spot.
Gedney tells me most people just don't realize that there really is no hard and fast rule when it comes to expiration dates. Apart from baby food and formula, she says they're not even regulated by the government. So next time you open the fridge, trust your instincts and your nose.
Give it a sniff. If it doesn't smell right, if it's starting to take on a funny color, then it's always best to err on the side of safety so you don't make yourself sick.
In Horry County, Mark Liverman, WPDE News Channel 15.